Yo, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Granted. Today, we've got a little solo episode for you guys, and I'm gonna make it short and simple. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys are gonna fuck with it or not, but we'll see. Um, Listen, I'm no counselor, I'm no advice giver, but today's episode is gonna be the three ways that you can improve your summer for the upcoming summer, okay? And this goes for me too. Like, honestly, I'm gonna try putting these tips into progress or into action and seeing what happens. But hey, for all the seniors out there, we only got one summer left. You know what I mean? For the class of 24, we only got one summer left. So I think these three tips can help everybody have a better summer in general. And maybe the overarching question you guys might be wondering is, what happened to my hair? You know? And the answer to your question is it's not real. I wish it was real. But we're just spicing things up over here at the Granted Studios, so that's what's going on, okay? But here we go. Top three things to make the summer better, in my opinion. I'm not saying my opinion's better than anyone else's. I'm just here to share it and see what you guys think of it. But here it is. Top three things to make this summer, the summer right before we go to college, the best summer that we've ever had. First thing I want to start with. One thing that I've never really gotten to say on the podcast is how much I actually hate social media. And for someone who is pretty active on it for the most part, I think that seems pretty ironic. Yeah, I understand that, but the overarching theme is this, like I've gone through times in my life where I don't go on Snapchat, I don't go on Instagram, and I'm telling you it makes you feel so much better just about yourself and about everything in general. And everyone's already been told this before, like social media is bad and whatnot. But seriously, this is one of the three things I would say to everybody to have a better summer overall. Get off social media, stay off your phone more in general. That's something that it's hard to do, honestly. Like I struggle with that shit all the time. Like I'm always um kind of gravitating towards my phone, even though that's not what's good for me. You know what I mean? But the overarching thing with social media is, especially Instagram, like when you go on Instagram, you're seeing all these celebrities, you're seeing all your friends, which is cool, but you're seeing, at least for me, my feed is celebrities, people that are verified, people that have a lot of followers. And when I scroll on Instagram, all that I feel myself doing is comparing myself to other people. And this is like an overarching life lesson in general, but when you compare yourself to other people, you're gonna you're gonna be less happy. It's just not good for any human to compare themselves to another person because then you start to think about what you don't have and what you don't look like and what you haven't achieved, even though that you've achieved a lot, you know what I mean? And so the main one is Instagram. Snapchat is a little bit different. Snapchat's more of a social thing, but at the same time, Snapchat is, in my opinion, a complete waste of time. And I use it a lot, so it's just something that I'll also be trying to do over the summer for sure. Is just getting off social media in general. Maybe it's a 3 day break, maybe it's a weekday break, or a week break. Maybe it's longer than that, but just putting an effort to stay off of it will actually make you happier. It will make you have a better summer because you're not going to be on it, so you're going to be doing other stuff instead, hopefully. And it actually like forces you to do something creative or go see friends or go do something fun instead of sitting there and scrolling on Instagram comparing yourself to all the other people in the world who make you feel imperfect. So that's number one is stay off social media and it'll make you feel a lot better. I've done it before, it does work. So that's tip number one. Tip number two for how to have a better summer, in my opinion. Obviously these are like I'm not saying these are the main three. Um this is just what I think. Tip number two, we've got hang out with people that you normally wouldn't otherwise. One thing that I was talking about with someone else the other day is, and I've mentioned it before, I think COVID really messed up the social dynamic of our class. And this year, especially, we've grown together, we've grown a lot closer. The senior classes, um, there's a lot less in between. There's a lot less clashing in between groups, and there's more unity between the class, which I really appreciate. But before that, it wasn't always like that. There were a lot of, there's still some problems between certain people, and that kind of separates the class or separates those two groups for the time being. But this year we've grown together. Before that, it wasn't like that. Before that, we struggled socially, in my opinion. Coming into freshman year, I definitely struggled to make friends. I don't feel like I made many new friends freshman or sophomore year. Maybe junior year and senior year, I made a lot more. But the freshman, sophomore year, definitely didn't make many new friends because everyone didn't know how to socialize with one another. But with that being said, now that we are closer together as a class, I just challenge you guys to hang out with people that you normally wouldn't hang out with because it really does result in a good time. I know last night I hung out with a few people that I've never hung out with in a group before. It was a lit time, like it was a great time. And of course, it's not always going to be like that. Maybe you know that certain people you don't really want to hang out with, and it's a preference. But other people, like other people that you're cool with in school, just invite them, bro. Invite them to do something, invite them to go hang out or whatever it is. And it'll just be a better time, I'm telling you. It'll just make it makes everyone feel good. Like it feels good to get invited to something. And if you're getting invited to something with a group you're not normally invited to, it makes that person feel good. And it usually results in a fun time anyways. So the second tip I have in summary is invite other people to hang out with you that you normally wouldn't invite. Um, just because there's certain times where, of course, everyone has their friend group, but then there's also outside people that of course you like that you could easily hang out with and have a good time. So just invite those people. It's not a big deal. Just invite them, and it'll be a better time in general. And it'll make them feel good as well. It's an all-around positive benefit for both sides. So that's tip number two. Tip number three is kind of basic. I mean, they've all arguably been basic. The third tip is honestly just enjoy it, and it doesn't even have to be for seniors. It's really just a life motto. Just don't. I think with college so far, like right in front of us, for me at least, with college right in front of me, it's really easy to think about the future, the next 4 years, the next 5 years, whatever it may be. But for the seniors and for everyone else, senior, not adult, kid, doesn't matter your age. Just live in the moment, seriously. Like, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the social media thing. If you get off social media, it'll help you do this more often. But if you just live in the moment, enjoy this summer for what it is. It's the last time you're going to be with these people before you kind of go off on your own path. So enjoy every moment that you can and like really live in the moment. Don't think about what's ahead of you as much as it is super exciting, but really take the time to enjoy this summer specifically and every day that comes with it and everything that comes with it. And I think that will just result in a better summer overall. It's just living in the moment, not thinking about what's ahead of you or what's behind you. And that's a classic. All three things that I said aren't like they're not new things. I just wanted to re-say them because that's how I feel and that's what I'm gonna be doing this summer to try and live it out the best that I can is staying off social media as much as possible, taking breaks from it, even if it's just a day. Take a break from social media. So that's one. Taking breaks from social media, hanging out with people that I normally don't. You never know what can happen. There's plenty of cool people out there, so you might as well invite the other cool ones to hang out with you too. And three is just live in the moment. For some of us, this is our last summer as kids before we really go out into the real world and we're on our own. Is the last summer with some of our closest friends before everyone goes off on their separate ways. So, for the high schoolers or for anyone, I would say that's a pretty good top three tips to have the best summer. Obviously, um, I think the shorter content is probably easier for y'all to listen to because I know I'd be doing like an hour and nobody really gets to the end of that. And who knows if y'all are gonna get to the end of this, but Um, I think shorter content's cool too. I'm just trying something new out here. Don't give me too much shit for it if you don't fuck with it. But that concludes another episode of Granted short form. It's just me today, but next week we'll have a guest for y'all. But thank you for listening if you got this far. I really appreciate everyone who listens, even if it's just a few seconds, a few minutes, it doesn't matter. I really appreciate it. If you're watching this through YouTube, subscribe. It'll help a lot. I'm just trying to grow this thing as big as it can get right now. And I appreciate y'all for listening. So that's another episode of Granted. Thank you for listening. We Howdy 5000. You know what it is.